Welcome back to Chew on This. This is Ben. I have over 14 years of experience on Svalbard, plus 5 years of experience here in Lofoten. Today we're chewing on that and the fact that I have over 20 years of experience in cooking, and I want to share with you my experience and what I've learned in all of these years, and hopefully it can benefit you and what you want to do. Why I left Svalbard? It was a tax paradise. I was living there for over 14 years, paying a very, very low tax. Visa-free zone. So everyone is welcome because of the treaty. There was a treaty, the Svalbard Treaty, that was signed after World War II, gave everyone equal rights to access Svalbard, or Spitsbergen as it was called at that time. And then the Norwegians changed the name to Svalbard, and then they also got sovereignty over the islands. But everybody has right to use it. And this makes a very interesting situation because you can go, it's like a tax haven in a way. You can go to Svalbard, you can just find work, you just work, you can go there, you can just start a business. It's very popular for Norwegians to go up and they stay like 1 year just to get the experience, and then they go back down to the mainland. But you have some people who've been living there for many, many years. I've known people who lived there for over 20 years. And I feel like the longer you can stay on Svalbard, the stronger you become mentally, physically, emotionally. It's just a very, very interesting place. And I can remember being in high school, sitting in the social studies class, and like there was this huge map of the world, like right in the front, behind the teacher. And I would sit there and just look at this map and just dream about like traveling to all of these exotic places and what the people are like there, what the people are doing there, like what they eat. And for me, I'm from a very foodie family. My mom, it was like she had her own garden. She only ate fresh. She would go to the market every day and buy food. Like it wasn't very normal to do that. Normally people would go to the supermarket, buy a lot of food, stock up the fridge, maybe once a week or twice a week or something like that. But my mom, she would go to the market every day, buy fresh food. And then my mom also loved to travel. She's been all over the world. To be honest, I never really felt I belonged in Cleveland. And I always felt like I belonged somewhere else. And for me, I just feel like, because being mixed race, I feel it's like even harder than just being one race in the US. Like, and everything is black and white. And if you're black, you're black. And if you're white, you're white. But it's like when you're mixed, you never really fit in with anybody. Like they never really accept you as black. They never really accept you as white. So you're always like fighting this, like, just trying to figure out who you are. I use a lot of energy on this. And I feel like I use too much energy. And I feel like overall in the US, we use way too much energy worried about color. Like everything is about color, everything. And it's just like, why do we use so much energy on that? And then I started traveling around the world and I see people don't even really care. Like, of course, you have people who are racist in other places, but people in most places don't define by color. They define by languages, by cultures. But why is it in the US it's only about color? And then, so for me, I never really felt like I belonged. And I always longed to be somewhere else and somewhere far away from that place. And don't get me wrong, I love the US. It's a beautiful place. It's an amazing place. You have everything there. You have, you know, if you want the Arctic, you can go to Alaska, or even Minnesota is a bit cold, or Wisconsin. If you want tropical, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to Florida, you know, Texas, California. Yes, the US is an amazing place, but I just don't understand why we use so much energy on color and race and these type of things. Also from my grandmother. My grandmother was an amazing cook. She definitely was a foodie. I remember going with her when I was younger. We would go, and it was in East Cleveland, and this is where they had these butchers who would, like, they had live chickens, and when they would butcher the chicken, you go order and they would butcher the chicken right there for you. So I remember going with her and we would get live chickens butchered and take home a live chicken. Like, how can you get any fresher than that? Like, that's what we did. We had our garden. We would go to the West Side Market, buy fresh vegetables, fresh fruits every day. And yeah, it was not easy to leave Ohio because of my family, of course. I miss my family. I love my family. But it was also easy because I wanted to see the world. And then it came down to somehow being a chef or going to work with my stepfather in the union as a cement, like a cement mason. He worked with cement. So, and I just really didn't enjoy so much doing this outdoor. They only work in the summer when it's warmer weathers, and then in the winter they get laid off. So then they get like paid, So you kind of have the winters free, which would have been kind of nice. But I wasn't really a big fan of working outside like that. And I never thought to become a chef. Like, I never thought to do it as a job, but I always loved food, always loved to cook. My mom and my grandmothers, my biggest food heroes, they were very passionate about food. So then I thought, why not? Why not go to cooking school and become a chef? And I'm happy I did. It was like the best thing I ever did, because I can't imagine myself working in some office, sitting there 8 hours, punching in a computer, and then go home. Like, that's not me. I'm not built like that. So I'm always moving, like I'm always in motion. Even now, like the cafe I have, I'm running around. It's quite a big cafe, but I'm averaging like 10,000 to 18,000 steps per day. So like I'm a very active, and I can't just sit at a desk. So I would just die if I had to sit in the cubicle. So I decided to look for some other work, and I saw a job that said work in Antarctica. And I'm like, wow, like what is Antarctica? And then I researched, and there were like expedition cruise ships. They were looking for chefs and restaurant managers to go on ships around Antarctica. And I said, wow, this looks really cool. So I sent my resume or CV, and I didn't think anything about it. Like, I didn't think that anything was going to come from it. And they called me back right away. And I thought, okay, this must be a scam. And they're like, oh, yes, we see you apply, and we're interested in you, and we would like to talk to you more, and blah, blah, blah. And are you interested in being head chef or sous chef? And like, I'm just like, haha, head chef, of course. Like, why would I want to be sous chef? Of course, they ask me, I'm going to say head chef. So then she said, okay. And there was like a little bit of delay, and they came back, and they said, okay, we want to hire you as head chef. I was like, okay. I still thought it was a scam. It's like, we will fly you to Cape Town, and then you sail with the ship to Ushuaia, and blah, blah, blah. And then you will do 4 or 5 months around Antarctica, and then we will fly you back home. I said, okay. So they flew me from Sabah, Malaysian Borneo, to Cape Town. I went with the ship. We repositioned it to Ushuaia, which is the southernmost city in the world, and Longyearbyen is the northernmost city in the world. Like, I remember how cold it was when I first got there. It was so dark. Of course, it was like February, so it's still a bit dark. I would just run to work and run home. But I decided on coming to Lofoten because there was a restaurant called Heim Restaurant in Hemingway Lodge. They were looking for somebody to run it. And for me, I wanted to have my own restaurant. That was always my goal. Even on Svalbard, I was pushing to have my own restaurant. It didn't happen. It was very complicated. It didn't happen. But if I would have had my own restaurant there, then I think everything would have went much differently. But because I was doing food tours, we had a restaurant bus with Arctic Tapas, the partnership didn't work, it didn't last. So everything became super complicated. So, there's a time for everything, and it was a time to leave, and it was more about survival there. I took the opportunity to go to Lofoten at this new restaurant, Heim. I was the leader of the restaurant there. It was really nice. I learned so many things. I was able to get my work visa, experience. Like, we doubled it. Like, the first year, I think before I came, they had made 4 million. And then the year after that I worked there, we made 8 million. And then we almost doubled it again. The second year I worked there, we made 11 million. So we like almost doubled it every year I was there. But I was looking more to have my own restaurant, and it didn't work out like that. It wasn't really becoming my own restaurant. So like, I decided to move on, and I was planning to leave Lofoten, and I was going to go somewhere else. But then I applied to a company, and they said, no, actually, we have a restaurant available in Leknes that you can take over. And it was this Jordbærpikene cafe. So then I said, yeah, that sounds really good. So I decided to take that over, and that's what I've been doing since. But I also wrote my book, Chew on This. And this has all of the experience that I've gained from all of these years. I've also built an AI digital twin coaching app that I'm using connected to the book. And I also am doing food tours here. And like, it's kind of similar to what I did on Svalbard with Arctic Tapas, but it's Arctic Bites. And it's about visiting the local producers. There's so many local producers here in Lofoten that it's just, you have to come experience it. It's a lot to chew on for one day. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. There will be a 10-minute video coming this Friday on the channel. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more about my life in the North next, what you want to know next about my life in the North, and subscribe. And Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in Lofoten. Chew on that.